All right, guys, promised you another special guest, and man, it is release day. The EP releasing today from Richard Schroder. And Richard, first off, thanks so much for taking the time to be on the show.
Hey, Cameron, thanks so much for having me. I'm really delighted to be on the show, and thank you so much for your support over the last year. I know you played a bunch of my songs on the radio, so I'm just super excited to be here with you today.
And I know that Skyline out, and tell us about the new EP and how excited you are about all the work that it took to get to this point, day of release today.
Yeah, it is. It's a little really exciting. I think, as you know, I had an album out last year called Drive, and I think you guys played some of the songs off that. But I have a new EP coming out today called Skyline. This was really a different labor of love this time. Prior to this, I had recorded and written most of my work in Boston, which is where I'm from. But this album I recorded and wrote all down in Nashville. So really was excited to do that. It was a great experience. I hooked up with a awesome producer, Matt McClure, who's a 3-time Grammy-nominated producer. So he really just took me to the next level and got some awesome players to play on it. So today's the day. It comes out, and I know you guys have been, I think, playing Almost an Angel, which is my lead single. It's the first song off that album. So thrilled about it.
Now, Richard, you talked about working in Nashville this time as opposed to Boston, your previous go-rounds. And what's it like to do the music, the recording and all the sessions in Nashville and with the artists that you get to work with, because they are artists?
Yeah, they are. I mean, it was funny because I met Matt earlier last year, and I was kind of looking to do some recording down there, and so he agreed, and we worked on the songs. And then one night I got an email, and he's like, "By the way, here are the session musicians." And I looked them up, and it was like Chris McHugh, who's like played with Keith Urban. It was Jeff King, who's played with Luke Bryan and Reba McEntire. It was Jerry McPherson, who's played with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. So. But I've been telling people it was just it was the best musical experience of my life. I went down there for a week to record it, and these guys came in. They were just super nice, super professional. But I've been saying it's been the most intimidating experience because I'm definitely the worst musician in the room. Like, they're so good. They're the arguably the best players in the world. They're definitely on the top of the heap in Nashville. So it's kind of, a little scary, but then on the other side, you're watching them take your songs and just hoist them to a whole nother level, and you come out of that experience and you just can't wait to play it for people, which is really today what I'm doing. So it was an awesome experience.
Now, Richard, tell us a little bit about your musical journey. I mean, where did you first find a love, not only for music, but the country music genre in particular as well?
Yeah, well, it was one of those things. I don't know, Cameron, if you've ever had this, but I remember I was 14 and in high school, and a buddy of mine had just learned how to play guitar, and he was like, "Oh, let me show you this." And he put the guitar in my hand, and it was like instantly I was like, "Oh, I'm learning this." It was like, I'm doing this. And I went home and I nagged my dad to buy a guitar, and he never thought I was going to keep doing it, but got a guitar and started out as a guitar player. Played in a lot of bands in high school and college, and then out of college. And I started more in the rock realm. And really 3 or 4 years ago, I started just coming down to Nashville and got really into the songwriting and the country genre. So that's where I am now, and I love it. It's because it's really about the songwriting and the craft, and there's so much to learn. And so it's a labor of love.
And you talk about the craft of songwriting, and this is one of the things, being playing the keyboard, singing, and stuff like that. That's one of those things that's always eluded me. How do you get the inspiration, or when do you know that the inspiration truly is what you're supposed to sit down and work on?
Yeah, it's a tough thing because I'm in the unenviable position where I seem to wake up every morning with a song in my head, and it just kind of rattles around, and they come and go, and it's tough to always have time to sit down and try to write them. And I've been fortunate enough to write a lot down in Nashville with my mentor, Steve Seskin, who's a 7-time #1 hit songwriter. So he's really taken me under his wing and taught me a lot. But, you come up with ideas. It could be titles. It could be something you want to write about, something you want to say, a melody, a guitar riff. And then you just try to build it from there. And then, there's kind of two sides of it. There's the writing and the rewriting and the pressure testing and getting feedback and trying to really get it to a place where it says what you want it to say. But then there's the recording process too, which is the other side of it, and that's kind of, you know, what Skyline is. So I love the whole thing. And then, you know, there's this part of it, which is you got to tell people about it. You got to get it on the radio, get people listening to it, and hope that they connect with it. So it's just the whole thing has always been fascinating to me. It's both the business and the creativity, the writing and the recording, playing live. It's a lot of things you got to do. And it's hard to do them all well. Yeah.
And country is such a different genre than any other musical genre out there. I mean, there's so many variations of it, and to be a part of a genre like that, I mean, how much pride do you take in the offerings that you have put forth as well?
Oh, I mean, I think it's just a great time to be in the country genre, because it is, you know, there is, as you're right, it's a lot of genre bending, but I'm super proud of the work. I definitely think this new album is my best work ever to date. I've made some bad albums and bands and stuff like that, and I look back. But, you know, you have to do those to kind of get to the next thing. And this is the first, you know, with the Drive album and the Skyline album, I definitely feel like when I play live now, I've got good songs to play for an audience. And that takes a long time to learn. There's no shortcuts. I'm sure there's a lot of geniuses out there. I wasn't one of them. Like, I've had to make every mistake. And I'm pretty good at that. So hopefully I'm learning.
That's right. Now, Richard, I always want to make sure and let all of our listeners know where they can keep up with everything with you, the EP releasing today, social media, website, and all that as well.
Sure, yeah. I've got a website. It's richardschroder.com, SCHRODER, and I'm all over socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Richard Schroder Music, at Richard Schroder Music. So I'm pretty easy to find if you Google me, and then obviously the album's out on streaming, Apple Music, Spotify, and every place else you can find it, which is really cool these days that, you know, the second the album's out there, anybody can get it. So
that's right. Skyline, the EP, releases today. Go check it out, richardschroder.com. And from that, this is the single that we have been playing. Here is Almost an Angel. Richard Schroder, again, thanks you for your time this Friday morning.
Thank you so much, Cameron. I appreciate all your support. Happy New Year to you.